Yo, what up everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm gonna be covering Diablo 4 content. Season 2 just dropped, so I'm definitely gonna be on it. I'm gonna try to release at least like, at least a video a day, I think. At least, right? So yeah, make sure you subscribe, follow along. I've only got like 300 subs or something like that, so hey, everyone's goal is pretty much like 1,000 subscribers. So, yeah, I mean that's my goal. I'm gonna try to push 1,000 subscribers here. So go ahead, smash that subscribe button for me. And yeah, let's get into this video. I just recorded one of these, but I thought it was a little too long. It came out to be 16 minutes, and I was like reading everything I wrote because I do have some topics I want to stay on. I want to stay on topic, but I don't want to read this and fucking look like an idiot on the fucking camera. I can't. So this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna edit the video, and we're gonna not read this, and I'm just gonna use this as like, yeah. But so yeah, there's basically item changes, right? I want to actually get a little bit more involved on screen too. That way you guys aren't just like listening to me talk. So first thing is item power, right, has gone up. So items haven't been reworked, but they basically have been kind of reworked, right? Because you're not going to be used to seeing these damage numbers, right? 925 is, before this was a lot less damage, right? Before items would be a lot less damage, but now these higher damage items are like common. That's because item power has gone up, right? So earlier on, if you basically, my whole point here is earlier on, if you see, like a 2600 weapon or something, you're like, oh, you think you get really lucky. Just slow down a second because there's higher there's basically higher, like um don't go putting your perfect aspects on it, like you're set, because I didn't know it was like that, and I actually burnt a decent aspect that I found an upgrade later. Oh, and two, I want to talk about this a little bit more too. There's a couple other off points that I have about this sword that are at different topics. Number one is the 925 item power, right? This item came from a world boss when I had just entered tier 4. So first of all, I would probably target a world boss when you first enter tier 4 if you can. And the reason why is because I actually just learned, from self experience, that they have a guaranteed drop rate, or I'm sorry, items that the bosses drop are guaranteed to be 925 from the world boss. Um, so yeah, that's just crazy that that's really good for you. So when I had went into World Tier 4, my max sword was like a 1500 or something, and so this was a huge upgrade for me. Huge upgrade. So yeah, boom. Getting something like that is just going to help you throughout the levels. First getting into tier 4 is so much easier, right? So the next thing, there was a couple other things I did want to talk to about that same topic, but I don't want to get into the negative and complaining side of it. I'm gonna save that for I wish they would have did this video. But basically, I do think it's a little weird that basically everyone is going to be having 925s. I've seen games have the pre-patch route and the post-patch route where they didn't have 925s and where they did have 925s, right? And I'm open to it. I want to see how it turns out. I hope everything works out. I'm just a little, you know, I'm a little weirded out. Just like everyone's gonna be walking around with 4,000 damage weapons. I don't know. I like a little diversity. I like it, you know. But everyone 925s, and literally too, every single person's gear is basically going to be 925, and that's what's going to be sought after. If you have a 915 weapon, um, no one is going to want it or probably use it. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. So yeah, with that being said, so next thing I just wanted to say real quick too, I'm just gonna go over and say I haven't really done much research on vampire powers. I barely even used mine. Like I don't even really like I just learned how to upgrade these things. Like you click on this like and you can upgrade. I didn't even know that, right? It's whatever. Um, you know, it was the same thing with the Malignant Heart season 1. I had got to level 100 before I had even used a heart. Oh man, was I mad. Um, so the thing I'm going to point out here, right, is basically at the bottom of the text, above activation cost, it says acquired from Battle of Fear and Faith quest. Okay. What I'm saying to you is I didn't know that you could, you know, scroll over them like that and it tells you where you got them or where you unlock it from. Acquired with potent blood. You know, they can tell you where you know, acquired from a witness in the dust. They tell you where you can unlock them from, right? So if you are searching for a certain one, boom, you can go rush that out quickly if you want that for your specific build, okay? I had kind of, well, I wasn't paying attention, but I had, you know, I was getting some unlocked, so I kind of figured it was just over time they were going to get unlocked to me, or I had to spend points to unlock them. Anywho, um, I'm not going to go over too much more vampire stuff. Um, I will go ahead and say that the skulls, the wine glass up here, and the mask, these all three also spawn on gear. You can see them right here: 2 wine glasses, a skull, wine glasses, or the helm and the 3 skulls. Those basically you need them to activate these. Like this one here, you need 2 skulls. So in order to wear this, you would need 2 skulls on your gear. I think that's how it works. I don't even know, to be honest, but that's what the powers are, right? You can see a few of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and end that there and say a couple other things too. So they also changed the way that items you find items, okay, which this is kind of important. And so it's a little confusing how it's worded. Before it didn't really matter what level you killed, I think is how I want to word it, and but now it does, right? So basically I think I'm not 100% sure here. I'm pretty sure that you want to be level, oh, I'm sorry, that the monster you're killing, in order to find a 925, I think he needs to be level 100. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I think that's what I had read in the patch notes. So when I approached it, I was making sure that if I was searching for that higher end gear, that I had set my nightmare dungeon accordingly. Okay? Now, if that level 100 isn't correct, once you do find out the correct number, just make sure it's set accordingly. I'm pretty sure it's 100. So with this being said, right, with this being said, what I was doing was, if I was searching for that higher end tier 925 stuff, I was making sure that the monsters I was fighting in my nightmare dungeons were level 100 via through a level 46 nightmare dungeon. A level 46 nightmare dungeon will give you the level 100 monsters, right? So if that's the case, I'm sure you understand, but if that's the case, I just want you to understand, unless I'm wrong here, I just want you to understand that there is a big difference if you're not covering the threshold. If you're in a 45 and you need to be in a 46 in order to get the stuff, that is actually a huge difference. That may not seem like it. Oh, a 45 and a 46, not that big of a difference, when it is a huge difference, right? Because I don't know what the lower one is, but it may only drop like a 975 or something like that, which is a lot lower in terms of the just raw weapon damage, right? So that's just a tip there. So let me actually flip through here. So I didn't know about these either. I don't know if these are rare or not, or if I was just not in the right area farming, because I was doing nightmare dungeons. I didn't really go into the green area. I'm not going to get into that. I do want to talk about these for a second though. So here we are. So with these packs on here, like all these, these 4 crown packs, right, that you need for the vampire powers. Honestly, I didn't really expect them to add these sort of things into the game. I figured that these would be the sort of things that people would complain about and want in the game. So I feel like Blizzard did a good thing with these, because I feel like people would complain, "Oh, I can't get the right packs on my gear." No, it's just, but now you can actually remove all packs present on a piece of armor. Boom. If I don't want these 4 crowns, boom, I could use this cleansing acid. Boom, all of them. And then I thought it was even more interesting. They're really catering to you guys, because then it says can be altered at the alchemist to remove only specific packs. So I believe I haven't used this stuff yet. I'm only 48 hours in. This is day 2. Um so with that being said, here, right? Let's say that I absolutely have to have 5 skulls on this to activate everything. And let's say that this is a god roll armor that I want to wear. Don't look at my armor, by the way, because it's bad. It is bad. Don't even ask what I'm doing level 100 wearing this, bro. I didn't want to show you. I didn't want to make this video. I'm like, bro, what am I going to do when I have to show them my gear? Like, no, really though. Yeah, so what you could do here, you could use this dye on this, I think. Get rid of that crown. I don't know if this is how this works, man. I hope I'm not just saying some shit that ain't true in my video. Um, and then you could take this skull stamp, boom, boom, stamp the thing with 5 skulls. Man, this video is turning out a lot better than my last video was, because, man, I was reading and that was not working out. We're not going to do any edits here. Pause the video, like and subscribe. I got a couple more tips for you. I just don't remember what they are without looking at this paper. Let me go ahead and just glance at this real quick. I mean, yeah, so it's just like, it's some little stuff like world bosses. I mean, that's kind of just like my opinion on things. Like, the world boss was a lot more tougher. I enjoyed that. Um, I think that when everyone gets endgame though, like, I think it needs to be even harder, because yeah, it was tough going in there while, there was a bunch of, 60 through 80s in there, but once everyone gets geared and figures out these OP builds, like, you're going to be back to like 5-second boss fights, right? So I would, even after this buff, I think maybe the damage is fine. Maybe up the damage a little bit more, considering people are going to get buffed even further. But regardless, I think it's the life that needs to be buffed, right? Because no one's ever going to fail a 15-minute boss fight, right? Once everyone's geared, no one's ever going to fail it, right? Unless you add a significant amount of life to that. And I'm not talking about a billion. A billion is not going to be enough. Like, it's going to have to be a heavy multiplier. On to the next. You know, I actually had just thought about this now, actually, right? I wasn't even going to put this in the video. I didn't have this written down or anything. It was actually pretty tough for me. Like, my gear, none of my gear is re-rolled. That's another reason why, like, I'm wearing this terrible armor, right? Well, first of all, I don't like, when I'm doing Nightmare Dungeons, I don't like switching my gear a lot while I'm playing. Like, I throw it in my stash and I go and I level while I have a group. Because when you have a group, that is your time to level. When I'm alone, that's when I will try to look through gear a little bit. But still, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so when it was expensive for me to roll this. Let me just see what it cost to enchant. Why is this thing marked as a favorite? Oh my goodness, you guys didn't see that. I'm just gonna put this in here. So I want you guys to look at my materials. I'm a level 100, and oof, man, I only got 16 of these things. That's another reason why. I actually do have an armor better than this, but like I just didn't have time to throw it on is what it was, and I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea what I'm even using. Some stuff doesn't even have. I'm telling you, it's bad. But I also didn't want to waste, some of this stuff, considering I've already wasted a few things rolling some of the stuff that I'm not going to use. So I'm just trying to, preserve as many of those stats as possible. But my whole point is rolling this stuff was more expensive. It wasn't even really even rolling to at the beginning. I think. Oh, that's another thing too. Good thing we're on topic here. So, you know what, too? Let's check the vendors. That's another tip. Always make sure you check the vendors. There can be godlies in here, which I'm not sure about how I feel about them vendors being able to drop best in slot gear. I have found all sorts of best in slot gear, not this season, but, just a vendor being able to drop a 925, I think has to be toned down. Oh, so what I was gonna say here is when I had first got to T4, I tried my first nightmare dungeon. Dude, I got wrecked. I got wrecked, bro. I got wrecked, bro. I had like negative all this resistance. I'm pretty sure I have too much resistance now. I'm not too sure, but the reason I had thought about this and remembered this, man, I wasn't even gonna say this. This is actually good. So I didn't have. All right, let's add a socket to. Oh, these right here are what I didn't have. These scattered prism, a mysterious prism most often found in very, very large bodies such as world bosses. Bro. Bro, when you are first starting, you do not got scattered prisms, bro. If they're going to nerf something, it's probably this. Because not being able to socket items. Look, I still don't even have sockets in my chest. That's how bad it was. I just got these prisms, y'all, in 39, and I'm not wasting them on this armor. I'm holding on to these because stuff needs to be socketed. Anyways, my whole point earlier on, I couldn't socket jewelry because of stuff like this. So it was really hard to upgrade gear and, enchant stuff. I couldn't enchant, I couldn't upgrade because of resources, which were way worse than preseason. But I actually like it where it was like this, though. I actually like it where I felt like I got to play, and it was. I don't know. I like it when it's a little tougher content. I will say I don't really like it when it's too easy and like handed to me. Anyways, though, my whole point was I needed resistance, right? I needed resistance, and resistance is definitely a real thing, right? New patch, right? Resistance is real. That's all I'm gonna say. I am gonna throw out a tip. I noticed a lot of people using all resistance, gems. I don't think I ever used an all resistance gem, and I don't think that I would really recommend it. Although I think all resistance is probably mathematically better. I'm not sure. I haven't even checked it. But I'm going to tell you my reasoning for why I didn't use all resistance, right? So, throughout the changing of all my gear, I would always have a certain resistance that was heavily lacking and one that was up. So, the reason is just as simple as that, because, I didn't want to put in, a little bit of all resistance to all of them and still be negative fire resistance. So I just, boom, 30 fire resistance, and that completely solves my issue there. So I would definitely recommend that. I actually do want to say one other thing too. Before I had even done that with that gem, I actually targeted fire resistance. I believe that monsters more commonly have fire attacks. Or maybe not more commonly. It's kind of, I remember Diablo 2, Chaos Sanctuary, right? You would want to stack like fire resistance and then lightning resistance, right? I kind of feel like it's kind of the same thing generally a little bit. I just feel like fire resistance is for some reason like, you know, cold hurts, but I mean, so yeah, anyways though, I focused on actually fire and lightning resistance. Um yeah, I'm gonna get this whole reworked out here. I'm getting a little off topic. Actually, I thought that was good info, but I don't want the video to be too long. You know what? I'm going to be making more videos. I'm just going to be making more Diablo 4 Season 2 content. Um, yeah, if you want to follow along, go ahead subscribe. I think I'm going to end the video here because I am mad. I already know, man. It's probably like 25-minute video. Yeah, go ahead subscribe. I'm gonna make sure I get some stuff, get some timestamps for you guys, stuff like that. Hey, I'm gonna add another video on this end screen. Go ahead, check it out for me, and hey, I'll see you guys next time. See what I got.